Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back. My name is Sarita. I have a double candle review for you today from Kringle, and they are two candles that are actually relatively similar to each other because they very prominently feature candy canes. So one of them I did pick up at Marshall's within the last 2 or 3 weeks, and that one is Candy Cane Lane. Looks like this. And it is a white wax. It is a paraffin wax. It is in medium, and it was $7.99, so nothing to sniff at there, right? This is the kind of paraffin purge that Kringle has given us over the last few months. And Marshall's very savvy, separated out the holiday ones and have been dropping the holiday paraffins within the last 3 weeks or so. So I was able to pick this one up in the store. As I mentioned when I hauled it, in the store, I was picking up on a really nice peppermint, possibly white chocolate, and I thought it was sweet and I brought it home. But then once I got home and I could smell it a little bit more deeply, there is a strong chocolate note in here that if I had smelled it in the store, probably would have dissuaded me from buying it because I'm not a gourmand person. And while I do love white chocolate peppermint, like regular chocolate or dark chocolate, candy is an entirely different thing. And that is true for this candle, but we're gonna get into that in a second. The second candle in question is this lovely teal-ish kind of color, and not a color I would immediately associate with the holidays, but it works so great. And this one is Candy Cane Cashmere. How lovely is that? Again, this is paraffin. This one I did not pick up at Marshall's, although I think I did see a few people pick it up from Marshall's, so this one would be floating around as well. This one I actually bought from Kringle back when they were running a sale on mediums, and I like this candle. I had it in a daylight initially, and weirdly, I ended up liking it better than I thought I would, because this one also goes very candy and white chocolate. And when I initially smelled it in the daylight, I was like, eh. I mean, I think I burned it once. I was having a bubble bath and I was like, oh, what the hell? Let's just do it, you know? And just to kind of get rid of it and burn the daylight. And as it was burning, I loved it so much that I was like, I actually think I would buy that in a regular candle format. And then I did that. So I have been burning this one as well. So these two I've been burning over the last couple weeks, but to be honest, I am not gonna burn all the way through either one of them in this season for different reasons. Let's get into it. I wanted to go ahead and give you that review. By the way, I know I've been saying their paraffin is actually fairly clean. This is an example of that. Both of these candles I've probably burned for about 4 hours, 5 hours, maybe even 6 hours total on both of them. And as you can see, very clean burn. Okay, it's really only once you get down pretty far in the candle, for reasons that I aforementioned in another video, that you would get more sooting, and you may have to wipe the jar down a little bit more with a paraffin as opposed to a soy. Okay, close parentheses. Let's start out with Candy Cane Lane, because I have a feeling that's the one that most of you guys are going to like. And it's also the one that I don't like quite as well, but no reflection at all on the quality of this particular candle. So this candle, unfortunately, is not available right now on the website. And I don't know if they have plans to report in soy or not. So right now, the only format that is available online is the wax melts, which are paraffin. And I think that you can still get those. No other formats available. And they haven't yet, at least they haven't dropped it to the website in 100% soy in any format. So whether or not it actually comes to the table or not is a little bit in question. The notes on Candy Cane Lane are top notes, peppermint and cocoa. There you go. There's the cocoa note. Obviously, I didn't have the notes when I picked it up at Marshall's. I didn't look on the website, etc. Mid notes, vanilla peppermint. So peppermint is in there twice on Nessa, but that's fine. Base notes, sweet, generic, and sugar crystals. Oh, Kringle, Kringle, Kringle. You don't actually need the sweet in there, especially if the other note is sugar crystals. So sweet just looks a little tacky. All right, it's fine. Basically what you're getting from this candle is chocolate, peppermint, vanilla, and sugar crystals, but it just tells you that it's a very sweet candle, and it is. It's a sweet candy kind of candle. The vanilla and the peppermint was giving me, and those are good notes, vanilla and peppermint. That's what's giving me kind of that white chocolate vibe with a little bit of the cocoa. But then as I smelled it more deeply and got it home, it is not a white chocolate. It is a true chocolate. And to be honest, I would almost say a dark chocolate. It is interesting that they say cocoa here because it is so strongly chocolate, a deep chocolate, that it's almost less sweet than you would think. And that might be the association of like the cocoa, for instance, as opposed to like a milk chocolate or something like that. Or even a dark chocolate if it's been sweetened and it's in like, you know, a bar or whatever else, or chocolate chips or something, you know? This is a very robust chocolate note. But because of the sugar crystals, the vanilla, and the peppermint, it is taking it to a much sweeter place. So it's definitely sweetening up that chocolate dimension. This is not, I don't think that this is a peppermint per se. I actually think they're right on the money with the candy cane. Maybe it is a peppermint that they've just mixed with a lot of sugar and vanilla, which is probably what a candy cane is, to be clear. But what I'm trying to say here is this doesn't come across as like, you know, like Starbucks has like the peppermint mocha. It does not come across as a peppermint mocha. It comes across as, or a peppermint hot chocolate. It comes across as a candy cane hot chocolate. And I know that's a very fine distinction, but I think it's one that I need to give you here. Yeah, I mean, it's a candy cane hot chocolate. And that's almost exactly what it smells like. Initially, when I smelled it really deep, like before I burned it, I thought to myself, this smells like peppermint bark. And so I actually thought that it was a little misnamed because I thought, no, this is not candy cane lane. Because when you think candy cane lane, like I feel as though you really do need to leave the chocolate out of it and just like really lean in, just really honor that candy cane dimension, in which case you can add a white chocolate. That's actually a beautiful combination, but the white chocolate doesn't detract or undermine the candy cane in a way that the chocolate does here. Here, it's not a candy cane fragrance. It's like a chocolate and candy cane fragrance. Yeah, so chocolate needs to be implied in the name and in the photo. So I was actually thinking peppermint bark because you know peppermint bark will sometimes have that really nice like dark chocolate like base on it, and then there's the white chocolate, and then there's like the crunchy candy cane dimension. That's almost exactly what it smelled like on cold. Upon it being burned, I have to be honest, the chocolate note at least comes out in equal combination to the candy cane, and perhaps even a little bit more, like we're talking 60-40, 60% of that like cocoa and then 40% of like the strong candy cane. So for me, this is more like a hot chocolate candle with candy cane. That's what it smells like to me. Now, which means that a lot of you are gonna like love it, right? It's not my jam, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's just really not. I don't do like chocolate candles, period, end of story. I don't do candy candles so much, but I do make an exception for a candy cane if it's just a candy cane white chocolate or candy cane vanilla or candy cane whatever. I'm not gonna do this. it's a no for me. So I've burned it considerably. I have a good sense of how it burns, and I wanted to do that for review purposes. But I have some friends who have already smelled this who love it, and they're really picky people. Like, they don't like any of my candles. And then they smelled this one and they were like, that is delightful. So God bless. This is going to give other people a lot of joy, and I'm about to pass this on so that they can take it to their lovely family circles at Christmas time. It's definitely not a candle for me personally. This is a true gourmand candle, and it is lovely. It really is. If you love those hot chocolate candles, if you like candy canes, this is your jam. It is gorgeous. It's gorgeous, it's authentic, it doesn't mess around, it doesn't give you like musk on the bottom and this, that, and the other thing. I mean, it's just really a gorgeous, gorgeous, authentic candle. And I mean, the jury's still out, and obviously Kringle is trying to do a lot more gourmand candles of late. But generally speaking, historically, traditionally, they are not great at gourmand candles. This is a standout. It is 1000% a standout. Let's talk about strength and throw and performance. This was amazing. I think this candle was, gosh, it was at least in the 7.5 like realm. And to be honest, I think it almost got up to an 8. I mean, it was a strong candle and a strong burner, and the paraffin burned very consistently, very strong, like burned up great, cleared the glass. I mean, it was fantastic. It really was. I have absolutely no complaints about the way that it burned. And man, I know a lot of you are, it's like, where do I sign? Where do I sign, right? Do you want a peppermint hot chocolate at an 8 every time you burn it in your house? Yes. Here you go, my friends. This is it. Now, here's the thing, and I should have looked at this before, but did Kringle just come out with like a peppermint hot cocoa? Like recently? For me personally, I don't know why they would have done that. It's redundant. They have an amazing peppermint, or at least candy cane hot chocolate right here. So why would they have done that? And I don't know how good that candle is. And frankly, I don't know how it compares. But I assume they've got to be very similar candles, because I think that peppermint hot cocoa is considered quite authentic as an experience. So if you've experienced Candy Cane Lane and have that hot cocoa peppermint candle, can you tell me how they compare, or even just compare in your memory? The peppermint hot cocoa though is 100% soy. And we've had this conversation. That's frankly comparing apples and oranges, because for me, it's become more and more obvious that the 100% soy just makes fragrances perform differently. We'll just put it that way. Makes them perform differently. So I don't know what would happen to this if it was repoured into soy, and I don't know what that other candle is like. But if you can get a hold of this in a Marshall's and this is your kind of candle, I cannot sing its praises highly enough. I cannot. And it's not my like ballywick. It's not my forte. It's not my wheelhouse. I'll be the first to admit that. So this is just not a candle for me, but it is for my friends, and I think it's gotta be for a lot of you. I liked this one better. This one is similar, but it's for people like me who are not so much gourmandies. This is a peppermint candle, and even a peppermint white chocolate candle that is not as strongly gourmand, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. That said, it does not perform as well as Candy Cane Lane. Let's talk about it. So the notes on Candy Cane Cashmere, which is available in more formats, we'll get to that in a second. Top notes: peppermint snowflake, which is basically just peppermint. Peppermint snowflake, fir balsam, and eucalyptus, interestingly. Mid notes: spruce, caramel, or caramel, or however it is that you say it. Jasmine, weirdly, but they have jasmine in a lot of some of their like Christmassy candles. It's kind of funny. Base notes, vanilla, coconut, and cedar. So as you can tell, there's a lot of really weird and unique combinations there. And it's a mashup of like true gourmandy notes with notes that are obviously not gourmandy. So on the gourmandy side, you've got peppermint and you've got caramel and you've got vanilla and you've got coconut. I mean, those are all strong gourmands. And then on the other side, you've got tree stuff. So you've got fir balsam, spruce, cedar, and then you have jasmine and eucalyptus. So a very strong, like, botanical experience. The thing about it is when you smell the candle and even when you burn it, it is not as complex as that. It's really not. I would actually be really interested in a candle where all of these notes were represented in a way that you could identify them when you smell it and when you burn it. That is not the case. So don't be like weirded out necessarily by that combination. What I'm mostly smelling from this is a strong candy cane. I would say that that candy cane / candy cane white chocolate, which it doesn't even give us a white chocolate note, but it does give you peppermint, snowflake, and vanilla, which is gonna be very similar, and then the caramel on top of it. I don't think that there's a very identifiable coconut, but if you smell deeply enough and like think intensely about coconut at the same time, you might be able to trick yourself into thinking there is a coconut nuance in this candle. I don't know that there is, but sometimes when I smell it, I'm like, oh, I smell it. I smell the coconut. I don't know. There is something behind the peppermint white chocolate vibe that is more austere and is not candied or gourmand. And that's as far as I can say. It is we're gonna call this a non-gourmand nuance. That's really all I can say. And it is impressive, like for all the wrong reasons, for them to have had such strong like tree components here and like coniferous trees, to have fir balsam and cedar and spruce, and for it to not be, I mean, it just does not compete with that candy cane. It just doesn't. It may be on the bottom. Like I said, there is kind of an austerity to whatever is the background of this candle that could very well be woody, that could very well be a little bit rugged and outdoorsy, but I wouldn't say that it's an outdoorsy candle. It's just not. It's just that it's like a really beautiful, soft, candy cane vanilla kind of fragrance that is grounded by something that's a little bit more austere and identifiably not candied, not gourmand, and not sweet. And that's all I can really say about it. But it's just enough to take this into the category of a little bit more of an intriguing non-gourmand, where the most identifiable notes are in fact gourmand. I don't know what to say. It's just a delightful candle. And I have to say too that this is one where you do not go nose blind to it. There's a lot of candles that you can go nose blind to, but for some reason there is something about this particular candy cane note that is insistent and that is persistent. And especially if you've got the candle fairly close to you, it just comes in like little waves, you know? And it's like, here's some more candy cane. Here's some more candy cane. Just when you forgot that I was burning over here, here's some more candy cane. And it's just lovely. It's really lovely. And it's especially lovely for a person like me. This candle is a little bit of a strange and temperamental one. First of all, the strength and throw on this one is far less than this one. So if this is kind of in the 7.5 and 8 realm, I would say that this is in the 5.5 to 7 realm. And I know that that's a pretty good sweep, but it's a little bit of a temperamental candle. So when you initially light this one up, you're gonna be burning it for about a half an hour and you're gonna be like, where is it? Like, this is not a good experience, right? And then it hits its stride just about at the moment that it burns all the way across in terms of the diameter. So this is a very temperamental candle in that it has to go to the diameter of the candle, and it has to completely be a liquid pool. And then all of a sudden it's going to increase in volume by like 3 points. It's crazy. It's crazy. I was laughing to myself. It's kind of that experience where, like, you know, you go out to dinner with your extended family and you're like, you go to the hostess stand and they're all like, I'm sorry, we cannot seat you until you have your entire party present. And you're just like, oh, no. Because you're a huge party, you just want to sit down, and as you try and like negotiate with the host, you're like, here's the thing. Uncle Roy is consistently late. Like, that's a thing. And we're going to be like out here for a really, really long time. I think it's better for you just to seat us. And then when he comes, you know, and they will just not be negotiated with. Yeah. And then you try self-interest. You appeal to their self-interest. You're like, guys, we're here in your foyer taking up all this space. Like, nobody can get by us. Surely you just want to seat us? No. I mean, they're just like not having it. That is actually kind of how this candle is. You walk into the space where this is burning. I literally just did like a few hours ago. I walked into the space and it was like melted pretty much the entire way around, but it had this little sliver right up in here where it hadn't quite pooled all the way. And I was getting like a 2 from it, like a 3. I'm in this space and I'm like, why can I not smell you? Why can I not smell? You're like basically pulled all the way, but this candle will give you nothing until it has pulled all the way. And then when it pulls all the way, like I went back 20 minutes later, it had pulled all the way and it was throwing at like a 7. Like, it was crazy. It would just like go 0 to 60 once it got to like a full pool. And this has been my experience with this candle, like on more than one occasion. Like, it's not just one time. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is, if you burn this up initially, you may be disappointed. Just give it a hot second. It will probably get up at least in the 6.5 realm, if not the 7 realm. It just needs a second. It will not get up into the 8 realm. That's what this candle is. And so in that sense, it's a little bit lesser of an experience. And would I prefer it to be stronger? Yes, I would. I would love it to be a 7.5 consistently. Would it become less soft and less intriguing if it was up higher? I don't know, but I kind of suspect not. Like, the candy cane here is really nice. I think it would just be really nice if it was higher, and I think at a higher strength and throw, we might be able to be getting some of those other like fun nuances there. Like, maybe we would get more tree if it was up in a higher range. As it is, I think you need to like adjust your expectations to like a 6, a 6.5, or a 7, depending upon the space that you're burning this candle and when it is that you come and smell it, because it needs a second. Also, this does linger quite a bit. So I blew this out like 3 or 4 hours ago, and like that space back there still smells like it hangs. It really will get to a good place, but it needs a second. Yeah. I love this candle and I won't be without it. I just won't. And that's the reason why I'm probably just going to burn it a few more times, maybe even a couple times in January, because there's nothing particularly Christmassy about it. And it's just like really cozy. So I actually, apropos to that like beautiful little label, and the color, which is not overtly like red and green either. It's like this gorgeous kind of non-traditional teal color, which also carries well into like after the holiday season. So I am probably going to burn this a couple more times, maybe in January, and then save it for next year, because I am interested in burning it in the 100% soy, but I just haven't had good experiences as a general rule with the 100% soy format. And apparently that's been especially true for their country candle ones. So I'm kind of devastated. And oh my gosh, if I found it out in the wild somewhere, I would scoop it up in paraffin. I'm going to be rationing this candle for sure, because it's just one of my favorites. This one is available in the medium 100% soy on the website. So I'm going to link all that down below. I believe it's also available in the daylight and in the wax melts, and those will be paraffin. This candy cane lane is only available in the wax melts. I'll go ahead and link the information down below. But I mean, I could be missing something because I'm not a gourmand person, so I should reserve judgment. But I just think to myself, if you're a gourmand person, I can't imagine you wouldn't love this candle. I just can't. So if you're one of those people and you have experiences with this candle, definitely let me know if that's not the case. But like, it performed so great. And I just think the fragrance is so on point for most people who like that kind of thing. So I really highly recommend both candles. Just one is not for me, and the other one is so precious. It's so special. I need this one forever and ever. That's what I've got for you. Fairly successful, with the caveat being that these are both 100% paraffin and just all bets are off with the performance otherwise. And I'm gonna leave it right there. I will catch you guys in the next one.